Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. How are you? I hope you are all doing excellent. On today's video I have a review. One of the goals for this year, it was to try more makeup brands. And one of the brands that I wanted to try from a long time, it is the Lime Crime. Now, when I started to watch YouTube several years ago, I know there was a big scandal in that Lime Crime was involved. To be honest, I don't know what was the scandal. And after that, I haven't heard anyone speaking about Lime Crime. It was like they were dead. Until recently, maybe a year ago, they started to raise their head out of the sand, and I've seen some interesting palettes on their offer, and among those palettes that caught my attention, it is this one called Venus XL2. I think this was released either beginning of this year or maybe in the end of 2018. I have seen some promo from the websites that I'm following, and I really was tempted about the shades they are here, because I thought there's something that I don't have in my collection. The tones are more green to earthy, and yeah, it seems interesting for me. I purchased my palette from Cult Beauty. I had a recent haul that it's now up on my channel, so I will link down the video if you want to see what other products I've purchased from that website. But yeah, we don't have other place where from to get a Lime Crime brand here in Europe excepting Cult Beauty, and I'm not sure if Beauty Bay is stocking, but Cult Beauty had recently 20% off offer, so I took the opportunity and I ordered this palette and some other products, and yeah, this is how I came across to this product. Blossom and Bloom with Venus XL2, the earthly rebirth of the ultimate grunge eyeshadow palette. Boldly unearthed 18 all-new shades in 4 rich, buttery smooth formulas: matte, metallic, foil, and sheer iridescent. So we have 4 finishes: matte, buttery smooth and totally matte, foil, high definition and ultra reflective, metallic, ultra shiny shimmer, and sheer iridescent, sheer opalescent lid taupe. First I will show you how the palette looks like, and then I will show you the swatches, and I will refer to the actual information that I found here on their website regarding the finish of the shadows. The palette came in this box, so I was expecting to get some cartoon box, but no, it came in this plastic, transparent, without any logo box. So I feel like I got my palette from some Chinese website. The actual packaging of the palette, it looks quite interesting. You have this green hair Venus lady, and everything around it's pink and peach, and here you have written Lime Crime and Venus XL. But one thing that has intrigued me is the actual back. If you can see, you have here a stick paper with information about the ingredients of the shades. But if you want, you can peel off this paper. So for me, it looks like this palette was produced in some other place and then it was rebranded in US, because it's written that it's made in USA, Los Angeles, California. Certified vegan and cruelty free, limecrime.com. Name one high-end brand that you have seen giving you an eyeshadow palette in this condition, in this presentation, with plastic packaging and having on the back sticked one paper with the ingredients and information. So for me this palette looks like it was made in China and rebranded in LA. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Okay, maybe I won't have a problem with this. There are great palettes, there are good palettes that are made in China, but what I'm really not comfortable with is the price. By opening the palette, you get your mirror. On the top is written lime crime. Also it is a stick, I think. Ah yeah, you can peel off this. And here the lime crime is gone. Then you have a plastic to cover your shade. And here you have the actual palette. The shades are not bad, at least as color selection. They are okay, they are decent. Some of them are better than others. We will go to this a bit later. We do get 18 shades, so you have 3 rows. Each row has 6 pans. The quantity that you get for each pan is quite generous. I think it's somehow near to the full size product. Is it written here how much you get? 0.05 ounces or 1.46 grams per pan. So I think it's quite generous size. For me it looks like a full size. Some other brands are selling this as a full size. So yeah, maybe this is an aspect that I didn't pay attention to it when I was thinking about the price. But now, if I'm taking my Urban Decay eyeshadow palette, Born to Run, first of all, I'm opening it and I have a large size mirror. And here you have written the Urban Decay, but it's embossed, or I don't know if I'm spelling correctly. You do get here not 18 but 21 shadows. The quality is outstanding. There is no single shadow that is not paying to the true color. So the color payout is insane. And this palette retails for $50 or $54, maybe I'm wrong. It's coming in the good cardboard packaging. You feel that it's high quality, you are getting a decent box, not a plastic cover. So there are some details that make the difference between high-end and more affordable, more cheap brands. Now let's go through some swatches and then I will show you how I recreated the look that I'm wearing today, but also one look that I did yesterday with this palette. On the first row you have In Bloom, which is a muted rose matte shade. Then Crown, which is icy champagne foil. Sage, which is shade green matte. Torn, cocoa with blue sparkle metallic. Ripe, matte warm terracotta. And Forbidden, which is a metallic peachy copper shade. On the middle row, Stella, which is a metallic pink champagne shade. Meet, which is a foil silvery green. Eve, which is also a foil mauve rosy with multicolor sparkle. Laurel, which is a metallic olive gold. Radiant, which is a sheer iridescent peach pearl. This is quite interesting shade and doesn't swatch white as you would expect, has nice reflection to it. And Ivy, which is a metallic glazed green with pink sparkle. And for the final row we have West, which is a metallic warm brown shade. Then we have Obscure, which is a sheer iridescent soft neon green. Mystic, which is a metallic soft blush. Phoenix, which is a metallic rust. Locust, which is a metallic green-brown shift. And Classical, which is a matte plummy brown shade. Those are all the shades that we are getting from the palette. And I want to mention that first I don't feel that we have enough transition shades, and also we don't have enough matte shades. Maybe this won't be such a big problem, but I feel that I can work only with In Bloom or Sage. So those are the shades that I've been wearing on my demos, on my recent tutorials. And Ripe, but Ripe is a bit darker for my skin tone to use it as a transition shade, so I use this in my crease to define the crease after I'm using the transition shade. And both In Bloom and Sage are not so pigmented, so you need to work your way a bit longer to get some intensity, if you know what I mean. This is not such a big a problem if you are more beginner and you don't want to do some mistakes, but I'm quite used with the intensity and I want to get more payoff from my shadows. So this is one thing I don't like, the fact that I don't have a good transition shade, and even though the shadows that are as a transition shade are not so pigmented. Then we have Ripe, which is quite pigmented shade. And the last matte that we have is Classical, which is damn pigmented. But another problem that I see is that we don't have too many dark shades. So if you want to intensify your outer corner, which I usually like to do, you only have this Classical or either Ripe. Okay, now I invite you to see the looks that I've created using this eyeshadow palette. On the first look that I created with the Venus XL eyeshadow palette, I was taking my new Zoeva 228 Luxe Crease brush, and with this brush I took the shade Sage and I used this as my transition. Then I took the shade called Ripe with the Sigma E25 and I want to define my crease. Later I went with Classical to deepen up a bit the outer corner. Then for my lid I tried first to add the shade called Mid, but it didn't work as I was expecting, so I went and packed the shade called Ivy, which is a gorgeous and has a duochrome tone. When I was packing this shade, accidentally I dipped my brush onto the Classical shade, which is beneath Ivy, and I felt that I have ruined my look. But then I was able to fix it with a clean Zoeva shader brush, packing more and more from the Ivy shade. On my lower line, I was taking a Zoeva pencil brush and I define it with the shade In Bloom, which is a matte dusky rosy shade. Then I took the shade Classical to intensify a bit. Finally, I added the shade Radiant on my inner corner. Then I just did my liner, mascara, and this is the final and complete look. For the second look, the one that I'm wearing today, I was taking again one of my Zoeva 228, a bamboo crease brush, and with this shade I started to build my transition. Then I was taking the shade Mid and I wet my brush, which is a BH Cosmetics number 103. On my outer corner, I was packing the shade Torn. Then I added a bit of the shade West to have it a bit darker. On my lower liner, I took the shade called Sage with a Morphe R43 brush, and over that I added the shade Eve, which is a pressed pigment. I also had to wet the brush to be able to get the desired intensity, because this is also not showing so much just on its own. I did my liner using my Benefit roller liner, and for mascara I'm using a brand new tube of Maybelline Lash Sensational, which is one of my favorite mascara. For the rest of makeup that I'm wearing, I will have linked on the description box below all the products. And this is how my final look has turned out. What do you think, guys? Which one is your favorite? Okay, so those are the looks that I was able to create. For sure there are endless possibilities to create, and for sure I will play out with the palette because I like the shades. I will not lie that some of the shades are really pretty and I will enjoy playing with them, especially now that we are entering in the spring, and yeah, I'm more torn to this warm, earthy, green blush shades. I really love the pressed pigment shades, the Meat and Eve, and even Torn, but you need to wet your brush to get the desired intensity. So I'm really into the middle row and I want to try more looks with those shades. One thing that it's good from this palette is that you have a lot of options to create your look, and maybe the looks that you are creating are meant to be a bit more earthy, a bit more soft and not so smoky. So maybe this is the idea. They didn't give you too many dark shades. It's not a quality that it's blowing my mind. It's not Anastasia Beverly Hills, it's not Urban Decay. So as I told you, some shades are good, some shades are so and so. But yeah, I want to know from you if you have this palette and what are your thoughts about it. Do you like it or not? And also I want to hear from you if you have tried other products from Lime Crime. They have the same quality on all of their palettes, or this is just for this one. If you are loving this palette, don't take it so personally and don't get angry with me. This is just my opinion. We are all different, we have all different expectations from makeup, and yeah, that's fine to have your own opinion. So this is my opinion and take it like this, and at the end of the day this is only makeup and it washes off. So yeah, feel free to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't agree with my review, and I hope to see you again on my channel for more and more reviews, tutorials, and yeah, a lot of fun here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you will subscribe before you leave. Stay tuned, and I'm looking to see you again on my next video. Bye bye!